Hey, how's it going? My name is Vashtalus, if you didn't already know. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm going to go ahead and get on into today's info because it's the second update, and there's quite a few things to talk about, so I want to be as short and sweet about it as possible. Don't forget to check out the previous videos, though. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, I've got two videos that are related to this subject. Yesterday, I was a Facebreaker Bob Romancer. Today, I am a Brain Rattler Bob Romancer. I'm using Chains of Command like I said I wanted to. And unfortunately, Facebreakers does not work with Chains of Command, so I had to figure that out. It involved giving Bob different gear. I'm going to go over that with you today, as well as some of the gear that I've changed with my actual character, and that will be right after. Other than that, I'm going to go over some of my passive tree. I'll go over some of the things that I tried and didn't really like. And be sure to let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and get on into it. For Bob's gear, he's still using an Abyssus. He is still using Gruthkul's Pelt, but now he's using Windscream. They're a pair of boots that grant +1 to curses primarily, a little bit of resistances. The gloves he's using, no longer Facebreakers, he's using Pain Seekers. Gives some flat elemental damage, which is nice. But then it comes with a caveat, but also an extremely nice upside with some of our other items we've given him. So that extreme upside is that he inflicts non-damaging ailments as though dealing more damage, specifically 100% to 200% more damage. That's a whole heck of a lot more damage for those shocks to consider. Now then, the downside of the gloves is that critical strikes do not inherently apply those non-damaging ailments. It's not terrible, it just means we have to give our minions some sort of shock chance. Well, that's pretty easy, especially with the weapon that we've given him. The weapon we've given to Bob is Brain Rattler. Brain Rattler has a lot of notable stats about it. Specifically, 50% of damage converted to lightning damage, 50% chance to shock, hits with this weapon, shock enemies as though dealing 300% more damage. So in total, that's already 500% more damage for our shocks to consider. And then 20% lightning damage penetration, and anything we shock also is slower with movement speed and cast speed. This thing has a lot going for it when it comes to lightning damage, and we have a lot of copies of them due to Chains of Command. It's pretty nice. I like it. It's cheap. Relatively cheap, I would say. It's not like the weapon is. The gloves can get a little expensive, especially if you want to get elemental weakness on them. I would recommend getting elemental weakness on them if you can, but that will start to cost you a pretty penny. But that elemental weakness is the whole reason why we have Windscream on Bob in the first place. Otherwise, you can, I don't know, you can use whatever boots that you want. That's kind of the gear changes in a nutshell for Bob. I really, really enjoy it. It came together in a bit of a surprise. I'm not sure if anybody's ever done something like this before with Brain Rattler and Chains of Command, but I like it. I like it a whole heck of a lot. And just to touch on Pain Seeker a little bit more, if you want to turn Bob into a serious shock monster, you could support him with Overshock, and then instead of just 500% more damage for those shocks to consider, it's up to 1,000% more damage for them to consider. That's a massive, massive shock for our minions to enjoy. Moving on, though. Moving on, I would like to now talk to you about my gear. So, a lot of it is placeholders. For starters, Cerberus's limb, it's terrible. It serves nothing other than to give us a little bit of energy shield when I'm still starved of it at lower levels, and, you know, not really having any of my crafted gear yet. Ideally, we're going to be using some well-crafted Warlock gloves and then Warlock boots for energy shield and maybe some fledgling minion stats. The belt is probably going to be Darkness Enthroned until we get something really fancy like a Mage Blood. You know, if the ring, Shavron's Revelation, that's going to stay. I'll talk to you about that again once we're looking at our passive tree. The gloves, placeholders, Grip of the Council gives us some strength. Everything else is not really that useful to us, but you know, it's something to use for right now while we wait for our crafted gloves. Chains of Command. I am in love with this chest piece. Couldn't recommend it more. It improves the quality of life of being a Bob Romancer heavily. The boots. Yeah, get rid of Corpse Walkers. Just use the Arcanist brand. Don't listen to me in that last video. Just use Arcanist brand. You are going to want some rare boots. The 7 league steps that you see right here, they're placeholders. And that's really all there is to the boot slot. Other than it's kind of related to the helmet slot. I'm not sure what to do with the helmet slot other than just, again, more energy shield. But maybe we use the unique helmet. I forget what it's called, but it involves, if we have a maximum amount of charges, frenzies, endurance charges, power charges, and then we use Ralakesh's Impatience, that would mean our minions also count as having the maximum amount of those charges. Could be powerful. I don't know if it's going to be something that I actually end up doing or if I really do want the rare items in those gear slots. The future is yet to be seen, so I'll just have to keep experimenting. But I sure am having a lot of fun. As you may have noticed as well, I am now Chaos Inoculation. Shavron's Revelation works really well when you use Bone Barrier and then Ghost Reaver, because you can transform that Minion Leech into Energy Shield Leech and it has double the effectiveness. It does come with a downside, you can't regenerate Energy Shield anymore, but your minions are probably always going to be dealing damage. It's really not that much of a downside. You could also even pick up a Leech Mastery for 10% of Leech's instant. Correct me if I'm wrong though on that one. I'm not 100% sure if that Mastery applies to all Leech, like, you know, regardless of the source it's coming from, or if it has to be us dealing it through an attack or a spell. Still really wishy-washy on the passive tree. This is going to be changing a lot. I definitely need a cluster jewel or two. Perkwell's Toe. The dexterity is surprisingly useful, and it's not completely useless with nearby allies' damage with hits as lucky. Aurora Aegis. This is really useful since we're Chaos Inoculation. I would like to think of it as a placeholder because I think the Squire and Dual Influence Wand idea sounds like a lot of fun, so that's what I would like to do. I don't know if that's what I'm going to get to do, but that's the goal. Get rid of Aegis Aurora, get rid of Cerberus's Limb for a Squire and Dual Influenced Wand combo. The Venter's Gamble you see is just here for some resistances and the reservation efficiency. This is going to be going away, and ideally we just pick up that reservation efficiency through a Mana Mastery, or maybe we pick it up here through Mystic Bulwark and the Mastery right next to it and the Jewel Socket. We'll see. But I think that's just about all the updates I have to give to you. Let's go over some of the things that I tried and didn't really like. First up is Dancing Dervish. Dancing Dervish, you can convert 50% of its physical damage easily, but then you have to use Triad Grip to convert the other half, and that doesn't really feel that great. I don't want to use Triad Grip if I don't have to. They offer almost no energy shield, and while powerful, I don't want to feel forced to include Dancing Dervish just because I can. This isn't a Dancing Dervish build. This is a Bob Romancer build. So I didn't want to overinvest into making Dancing Dervish work when Bob was already shining quite brightly. It's not to say it's not fun. It's just, it's not what I want to do. And just so you're aware, yes, you can use Dancing Dervish while using Chains of Command. Not sure if that's unknown, but you absolutely can. And they're powerful. They're powerful, but comes with a heavy downside. You no longer get to benefit from a shield. You no longer have a main weapon. You get Onslaught. You get some movement speed back, but you can't use a movement skill anymore. It's a huge bummer. I wish that they would make a movement skill that is an attack you can use while unarmed. That would be a whole heck of a lot of fun, and I think encourage way more people to enjoy a purely Dancing Dervish build, or at least where Dancing Dervish is the star. Also, hey, give us like a mastery or something that lets us convert the other half of our minions' damage, or give us like a cluster wheel, you know, like maybe put it up here by Fearsome Force or next to the Link Mastery or something, so that if you invest 4 points, it converts the other 50%. I feel like 4 passive points would be a fair investment to convert the other 50% of your minions' damage. Let me know what you think about the comments on that one. But I think that's just about everything I have to update you guys on. I am not going to be using Dancing Dervish. I'm not going to be a Facebreaker Bob Romancer anymore. But I hope you give it a try. That sure was a whole heck of a lot of fun. And I would say the last update is just about as close as I could get you to an introduction for where you could take it. It obviously wasn't min-max, but it certainly was lonely. But now that Bob has some Brain Rattler friends, I am absolutely schmoovin'. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you found it useful. I hope you'll give everything that I've been talking about recently a try. It really is a lot of fun messing around with this minion skill, Animated Guardian of Smiting, and I'm going to continue to do so. Tune into stream sometime. I'd love to have you there. And I'll quit bugging you. Peace out. Stay safe. Have fun. And man, I cannot wait until Path of Exile 2. I am on the edge of my seat. I don't know about y'all, but seriously, I cannot get enough of the teasers. But I'm also trying to stay away from any spoilers, so, you know, I gotta be careful out here. Anyways, see you later. Peace.